In this video, I'm going to walk you through the messy process of writing satire. I'm going to show you how to write, rewrite, throw everything away because I just figured out a better premise, write that one, well, then throw that one away, and then finally get on the right path and write something worth reading. Now, there's a lot of tutorials online for how to write satire, but let me tell you a secret. Writers lie when they say there's a 3-step process for how to write everything in one go. A lot of people want to tell you how to start with your final draft in mind, how to start with a good premise in mind. But here's the thing. You don't have a good premise. Even if you think you have a good premise, you probably don't. So let's get down to business. Let's talk about how to write satire. Now, the number one mistake that new writers make is, well, I read their pieces and I take a look at it and I think, what's the point? And if you say, okay, you know what, this is humor, it doesn't need to have a point, it's just funny. Well, that's your thought, then you're doing it wrong. Now, sitcoms can get away with slapstick humor, and John fell into a mud puddle and it's funny. But I'm sorry, that doesn't work in the written word. Satire, at its heart, it's no different from a persuasive essay. But instead of using logic, instead of using evidence, we're going to use humor. To illustrate this point, let's take a look at the top performing satire pieces on Medium of all time. Now, if you weren't aware, you can view the top performing pieces by going to medium.com/tag/satire/archive.
All right, from 2019, we have an open letter to the teacher who gave me a D on the essay I wrote for my son. This is a persuasive essay, and the point is, parents, please stop doing your kids' homework. Help your kids. Don't write their essays for them. Now, if you were to write that persuasive essay, do you think it would go viral? No, of course not. Parents know they're not supposed to do it, but they do it anyways. From 2020, we have my sexy breastfeeding techniques to steal your husband. This could have been written as breastfeeding is normal. People, stop getting grossed out about it. Those are not going to go viral. This is a persuasive essay, but it's using humor. From 2023, we have this is how ridiculously great life is when you're an attractive woman. This is a rant. I want a real relationship. Stop just coming at me for my body.
Good satire always needs to start out with your premise. Don't start out with what you think is funny. Start out with what's something that you want to convince the reader about. All right, so instead of just talking at you, instead of just telling you how to write satire, I'm going to show you how to write satire. I'm going to start out with a blank page, no idea what I want to write. Let's get down to business.
First thing I need is an idea. So I'm using Qualiquil. This is a service that I created. It's totally free, no ads, no premium subscription. I just wrote it for myself, and if you want to use this, great. If you want to just use Microsoft Word, that works fine too. All right, if you don't know what to write about, just do a Google search for list of things wrong with the world. All right, climate change, poverty, wealth inequality. So I'm looking for an idea. Give me some satire ideas. Poking fun at incompetent politicians. I know it's really slow. Let me skip ahead and show you the results after they come in. Okay, the one thing about Qualiquil, it tries to give you diversity in ideas. It tries to push you away from like getting stuck wherever it is that you're getting stuck at. I know I said politicians, it's giving me influencers. I'm trying to work on that. But let's just see if this piece is funny. Solving poverty and global warming by basically taking pictures. Okay, not that funny. Corruption is team building. Pasta diplomacy, that doesn't sound funny. Corrupto coins. This sounds interesting. So here's my first idea. Corrupto coins. A new currency just for bribery. All right, let's see if I can get another idea. Satire poking fun at the creator economy. Once again, I'm going to skip ahead because if you try this in real time, you got to wait for a long time. I'm sorry, I built this myself. I'm working on it. I know it's slow. All right, creators find social media giants yaks using their own ideas. That doesn't sound that funny. Paint drawing streaming sensation. That sounds promising. Paint drying. Live streaming. Paint drying. All right. All right. Turning cities into live ads, innovative exploitation, or dystopian nightmare. All right, this one looks interesting. Mayor blows town's pollution next door, missing the point. All right. The ultimate solution to pollution, it's not just a fan, it's a gust of progress. To idea of pollution, we can simply blow it away to a place. Okay, this is different from the original idea I had, but I think this is funnier. I think I have an idea now. I'm going to delete all these ideas because I like this idea the best. All right, so billionaires, the ones who contribute the most to climate change, are the ones least interested in doing something about it. All right, I'm going to make that my title. I know that's a terrible title. That's definitely not going to be the title of my final satire piece, but that's just, I'm putting it at the top there just to remind myself that's what I'm going for. Let me take a look at this idea. I'm not actually going to use any of this, but let me just get some ideas. Okay, air relocation program. I like that. That sounds like a billionaire who doesn't care, or a politician who doesn't care. It's not just a fan, it's a gust of progress. I like that. Why is the neighboring town complaining about smoggy skies and sooty streets? Well, they always wanted to be on the map. I guess they're famous for something. By relocating our pollution, we're giving the environment a break. Well, our environment at least. It's important to take care of your own backyard, right? Next comes the part of, banging your head against the wall and like writing a few hundred words. I'm going to get my first rough draft. All right, I'll meet you after I have my first, say, 1 to 200 words written. This is just a rough draft, mind you. All right, this is not my final piece. I'm not going to submit it to publications. I'm not going to start editing for grammar yet. I started out with a strong introduction. This is the tone that sets the piece. Panic, climate change is real, we need to do something, people. As long as it doesn't include cutting emissions. This is the part where I dive into the satire. All right, change is important, but we also need to be reasonable. We don't want to drive our corporations into bankruptcy. And then I'm going to backpedal a little bit and reveal more about my character. I spent a while working on my character. Originally was going to write this from the perspective of a corporation. I realized this would be funnier if I write it from the perspective of a politician who is denying the fact that I've received any money from huge corporations. By denying it, we're satiring the fact that he's in these corporations' pockets. Now we introduce the air relocation program, and then we're going to blow our problems away, and that's my first rough draft. Another feature that I built in the QualiQuill is that once you've written over 100 words, now the chatbot can actually read your piece and it's going to give you advice for this particular draft. Less than 100 words, it's just going to give you broad, general, anything goes ideas. Over 100 words, now it's giving us specific ideas. How can we improve this draft? I'm going to say, help me expand the satire piece. Let's see, take the air relocation concept a step further, proposing a ludicrously high-tech solution. No, I like air relocation. I'm going to keep that. Exaggerate the denial of personal gain of corruption by claiming a lifestyle so modest it borders on the absurd. I like that idea. this, I'm going to put it right here. Once again, I'm going to make it bold. Bold paragraphs are just where I'm going to completely rewrite on my own. All right, introduce a fake grassroots movement funded by polluting industries aimed at promoting the idea of individual actions like not breathing to reduce CO2 emissions are the real solution. Okay, I like that idea. I don't like the way this is worded. So down here, I'm going to say not breathing as a new solution. Adopt a polluter program where citizens are paired with small polluting businesses to personally offset their emissions. I like this idea. Adopt a polluter program. Actually, I might like that better than I might like that better than the not breathing. Adopt a polluter. All right. Pollution exchange program. Okay, making fun of carbon offsets. I like that idea too. I got some ideas. I got my editing cut out for me. All right, I'm going to take another break, and I'll see you after I finish writing my second draft. All right, so here's what I got so far. Panic, this is urgent. We got to act immediately. Now, climate change is important, but we can't afford to erode the inalienable rights given to us by, to our beloved factories. And as your esteemed representative, I've had countless opportunities to accept bribes. All right, now, previously, I had exaggerated his poverty, being I'm so poor, I'm living in a shoebox and everything. But I couldn't figure out how to make it clear that, he's lying. It just wasn't funny. And so I switched it around, and so I said, I'm so poor, I can only fit one Olympic swimming pool in my basement. My Tesla is so old, it takes 2 taps to turn the seat warmers on. This seemed a bit more funny. Nobody cares more about the environment more than me, but we can't erode the sacred document that all factories are created equal, with life, liberty, and the pursuit of unmitigated greed. And here, I believe in the air relocation program. And now I'm continuing the theme of let's feel sorry for the bad guys. Polluters, they're not villains. They're victims of circumstance. And for just $14.99 a month, the cost of Amazon Prime membership, your contribution will go towards champagne tastings, yacht maintenance, and exotic vacations. I am, basically satiring the idea that feel sorry for these poor billionaires who, so hard to turn the seat warmers on. Right. Now, let's edit this. The introduction is really important. Write and rewrite your introduction like 20 times. I don't really feel like I'm, catching the audience with this opening paragraph right here. I don't want the reader to click away on the very first paragraph. Let's go back to my premise. The ones who contribute the most to climate change are the least interested in doing something about it. Satire is laughing at someone. You need to know who you're laughing at. We're not laughing at environmentalists. We're not laughing at global warming. So that actually might not be the best introduction. I'm going to take this out. Never fall in love with what you've written. I mean, you're going to write thousands of words that you're going to end up deleting. We're going to start with a big fat lie in the very beginning. This might be too abrupt of an introduction, but for now, I think that's a pretty good place to start. That's why my first draft, I was copying and pasting stuff from other places on the internet. Not that I endorse plagiarism, but it's going to be deleted anyways. Here's what I got so far. Feel so sorry for me with only one Olympic-sized swimming pool in my basement. Air relocation program, and once again, feel sorry for the polluters. This air relocation program, I know that's what I started with, but like I said, never fall in love with what you've written. Right now, I'm just going to boil this down just the bare essentials that feel sorry for the polluters, for the people responsible for the climate crisis. As your esteemed representative, poor me, looking at me, accepting so many bribes. And now for just $14.99 a month, you can help a polluter with their champagne tastings and exotic vacations. I finally got a good premise. That's the hardest part. Now, the air relocation program, I might introduce that later, but number one, most important thing is get a good premise. You see how it took me 3 drafts just to get a premise. Now I'm finally ready to start. So give me some ideas. Help me expand this satire piece. Begin with the hardships of misunderstanding wealthy industrialists in a world of increasingly hostile to traditional art of making a obscene fortune. I really like that, traditional art of maintaining an obscene fortune. All right. Slightly decreased profit margins and occasional slap on the wrist fine. All right. We need their help more than ever. I'm going to put that right here. They're victims. Victims. All right. The victim. All right. Of the slap and the wrist fine. I like that. All right. Imagine having to choose between the gold and the platinum trim of your private jet because the economy took a slight downturn. I think I'm going to put that here. This is Billionaires Benevolence Fund. I like Adopt the Polluter better, so I'm not going to do that. Call to action, prioritize the comfort of wealthy CEOs. I don't think I'm really ready for to work on the conclusion just yet. That's what I got so far, and I'm going to take another break, and I'll come back when I'm ready to show you my 4th draft. All right, things are finally starting to come together. I start out with, in a world increasingly hostile to the traditional art of making an obscene fortune. Every time you're itching to pocket another cool million, there's some eco-conscious do-gooder or pesky governmental regulation popping up like a game of capitalist whack-a-mole. As your esteemed representative, I had countless opportunities to accept bribes, but, I still only, that. So sorry for me. All right, polluters aren't villains. For just $14.99 a month, you can help fund their exotic vacations. And now I'm bringing the air relocation program back and saying this is what your donations are going to. I got a solid half. This is half of the satire piece. The first half right here. And then the second half is going to be the air relocation program. And this program will unite the world in our shared apathy toward the environment. All right, so this time, help me, this satire piece. Okay, but this time, the first half is good. Focus on the second half, particularly develop the air relocation program in such a way that we feel sorry for the billionaires. None of these ideas is that good. Let's take off. Let's just develop the air relocation program. Oh, an app where you can track your pollution in real time. I like that idea. We're creating protective smog shields, safeguarding the untouched paradises where our clients spend their leisure time. We're just relocating pollution away from the billionaires. They're the ones. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Plant a single tree for every 1,000,000 tons of CO2. That's been done before. Propose a mentorship program where billionaires can adopt a less fortunate individual. I already have the adopted polluter, so I'm gonna, yeah. Okay, this is coming together. I think I'm pretty close to my final draft, but I'm gonna take another break, keep writing, and I'll see you after I finish this next draft. It's my I don't even remember what number of draft I'm on, but this is pretty much my final draft. Well, not my final draft, because then there's going to be like copy editing, grammar, and all that. I won't show you that because I'm sure you all know what that looks like. I'm just showing you content. All right, I didn't change the beginning at all. I start out with poor us dealing in a world that can no longer deal with the traditional art of making an obscene fortune. All right, for just $14.99 a month, you can help alleviate now with the introduction of a revolutionary air relocate program. Our donation will help relocate polluting emissions to less deserving locations. We're outsourcing pollution by strategically concentrating emissions in areas beyond salvation. We create a protective smog shield safeguarding the untouched paradises where our clients spend most of their leisure time. Designated sacrifice zones. We can't save every corner of the globe, but we can save the people who are most deserving, which of course are the billionaires who caused this crisis. I'm not coming out and saying that directly, but I'm implying it. We're doing more than simply creating playgrounds for the wealthy. This is implying that that's really what we're doing. We're saving entire ecosystems of cute animals that capture the hearts and wallets of the elite. Not all species are created equal, but those that capture the attention of billionaires are undeniably more deserving of our protection. Photogenic species, we're creating a paradise for all of humanity, never mind the fact that people like you would never be allowed to enter. But we'll sell you a glossy magazine. We can't do it alone, and then conclude with a call to action. I did not start with this premise. My premise ended up being feeling sorry for the people responsible for the climate crisis, but when I started out, I had no idea where I was headed.
I just started writing. I wrote a draft. I threw it away. I wrote another draft. I picked the best parts of that, and then I threw everything else away, and then I wrote another draft. And I keep refining my premise. Once I finally figured out where am I going with this piece, then I can actually write something worth reading. Now, there's a lot of advice on how to write satire, but a big problem with that advice is that people want to tell you how to write your final draft, how to start with a good premise in mind. But here's the thing. You don't have a good premise when you start writing. You need to figure it out as you go along. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around.